really want to actually go to the lake because I really want to just like relax in the sun and go tan while we go film podcast.
The sun sets and literally
we can go fishing. We can go fishing while we do it too.
you have no worms. No.
We can literally just see if they want other things. Anyways, welcome back to the MC Ryan podcast. This is podcast number 16, I believe. And we are just rambling on right now, just thinking of anything that really we can think of and what we are going to talk about in the podcast, because we literally have tons of ideas that we are scattering our minds with, and we have a Google Docs. We have a Google Docs filled with podcast ideas. So we are going to dive into some of them, or we just are going to create some random thoughts as this podcast just flows through, as it normally does, because you know how conversations go. They lead to one thing, then one thing leads to another, and then another thing leads to another thing. You want a cup on the podcast?
Yeah.
Is that really, like, professional?
No, this podcast isn't that professional.
You want to go get the cups? I cut my leg, like, real bad. Literally, my quad, you can literally see, like, the blood.
Dude, it looks like you got a rash.
It literally looks so bad. Like, literally looks really bad. Like, I cupped way up here, and when I was cupping, I noticed that my left side...
Oh.
Literally, that is unprofessional what you're doing. Literally, don't do that. Because then it just looks odd. Like, to new viewers, people are like, he's yawning, I'm clicking off. So, literally, though, when
My foot doesn't show, so I technically can cup.
So, I mean, I guess you can go get the cups. But when we were, when I was cupping today, I literally was cupping, and I cupped my upper hip near my, whatever. And I just cut my upper hip, and I noticed my left hip is actually more tender than my right hip, and it hurt a lot more. Dude, you really need to stop yawning. Like, literally need to stop yawning. I haven't yawned yet, and I'm tired.
Okay. I know, I just yawn a lot.
I do yawn a lot. Maybe it's just a natural thing. But literally, I even cup the same. Like,
that's because Mr. Liz yawns. He's yawning. And this makes
yawns are very contagious, so. Like, literally, very contagious.
I remember when we were yawning and then we watched someone else yawn.
Oh my god.
Ooh, that was funny.
Literally.
That was sad.
Oh wait, this was New Year's, huh? A year ago. No, more than a year ago. Wait, really? It was that day, huh?
No.
Yes.
It had to be July.
No. I really think it was New Year's. Was it?
Crazy.
Wait, what was it? Was it?
It had to be.
Oh
my god.
I really don't think so. Do you?
No, it was. It definitely was.
New Year's? Because this year, New Year's, I got surgery. July 4th, we just chilled out in the pool, and I know we didn't do that. So I'm pretty sure it was New Year's when we did that. Literally, I really do think it was New Year's when we did that. Where we were just talking about yawning and everything. Because when you yawn, I think someone told us when you yawn, you have I think it was our teacher that told us when you yawn, you have low oxygen in your brain. I believe that's the reason why you yawn. I don't know if it's really I really think there's more to it and everything like that, but that could be one of the reasons why you yawn.
You know how we're talking about random stuff? We can talk about being a twin.
We could. But I want
because this is literally the stuff how when we talk about when I'm laying in bed and you're editing when I'm going to bed.
For real.
No joke. Literally no joke. Literally no joke.
Literally scattered mind. But if we did this, then we would have to really people want the questions answered and stuff, and first off we need to create a list.
Well, I can look up questions to ask twins.
All right,
let's go get it.
But
my chair doesn't move.
But what we really need to do is create a thing. No, what are you doing?
Nothing.
When we really create a thing, we need to create a whole document of all the questions I get from Instagram and probably what you get and then also what we get on the YouTube, that we need to answer we need to create like a document from all the comments that we get of asking those questions on Instagram and YouTube, and talk about literally like what to ask a twin or what people want us to answer.
It says what to never ask a twin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me if you agree with this.
Okay.
If I pinch you, does your twin feel it? Or if I hit you, does your twin feel it? Okay, the only person that can say that is Matt.
Yeah.
Matt is the only one that can say it.
Yeah. If he hits you, I'll feel it. I'll feel it. No, but you really, I mean, wait,
it annoys me when someone
wait, ow, that hurt.
I felt that.
No, remember the story when I crashed on the bike and you had this weird...
No, literally, it's still... Every time, like, there's something wrong, I'm like, something wrong. And, like, when you're cooking, I'm like, he definitely cooking. Like, I just know it. Like, when you spend a long time in the kitchen, like, yep, he definitely cooking. Like, I just know what you're doing most of the time. Like, when I'm at work, I know what you did today.
What did I do today?
First of all, well, I knew you cooked right after breakfast. You look like you had that mindset, like, I'm cooking. I'm like...
Nope, I actually cooked before breakfast.
Oh, okay, wrong. I know I can tell you cooked or was gonna cook. Then you went to edit. And then you wanted to cook while you were editing.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, I need to do this. So you didn't.
Correct.
And you're like, I need to plan Matthew's schedule out. So you called me and asked me, when do you want to film this podcast? Because I need to plan out when I want to cook what I have.
Correct.
So, and then we're basically where, and, oh wait, yeah, when we went to go film our podcast, like, I really don't want to film right now. To hope he says something.
Because I wasn't going to say anything. No, like, seriously, I was like, that's why I was like, you're in the driver's seat, you tell me what to do. Because I was like, I'm kind of hungry, I want to eat. Because...
No, literally though, when I come home from work, it feels like I haven't eaten in 24 hours.
It does. And then
like every single time.
And then I end up eating a bunch of mushrooms and carrots and sometimes other things. Beef jerky.
Literally like...
But I also took a hot bath and did some cupping, which literally, I didn't cup this quad as much because I was like, I need to focus on this quad. Because literally this quad, I should have focused on this quad and did the same and get the same bruising and blood vessels popping. Because if you have an injury on one side, and you can, like the doctor told me today, if you have an injury on one side, you can change your gait cycle when you're running or walking, and it can cause another injury on the other side, or it can cause another injury on the same side, but literally a different side. Like it can cause a knee injury on your, you say you have an injury on your left side, it can cause a knee injury on your right side. Because you're going to cause a discrepancy, or you're going to cause a muscle imbalance, or you're going to cause a hip drop. Because literally everything from the lower back to the toes are connected. So if you're changing your gait cycle due to a lower body injury, you're going to feel it. I'm going.
I hope I get my money back. By the way, everybody, if y'all want a trainer, selling my old trainer for $350, please someone buy it. Please.
$350 for the trainer. Which is actually...
It is the kicker snap, by the way.
Which is originally...
It probably
like
sells probably like $400, $450 now.
$500, I would say. I think it still sells for $500. I don't think they changed the price. But anyways, back to what they told me at the doctor's today, because I had another doctor's appointment. It was basically...
It costs $500.
Yeah, I knew they didn't change the price.
So if anybody wants to get $150 off, comment down below.
Go for it. And... Well,
comment down your Instagram.
Comment down your Instagram handle.
Or something.
No, comment down your Instagram handle so we can so Matthew can directly message you. Yeah, it would be easier for him because we don't want to put we don't want to put your number or something out on there, and y'all's number either. So just let us know in the your Instagram handle.
You say your number twice, but
yeah,
you get the idea.
Yeah. Anyways, but literally, like, if you get a like my hip injury and everything like that, literally can cause another injury to flare up because of your gait cycle. So if you have an issue on one side, you can easily cause another issue on the right side or on the left side, vice versa. And he said my abductors are very weak, but my inner quad muscles, like I think it's the abductors, and what is the other thing?
The inductors.
No, look up the abductors versus, and it probably will give you the other word. But
abductors versus adductors.
yeah, I think he said my abductors are weak, but my adductors are not weak, because when he described it like your adductors abduct something. So, like you run away or something. I don't really remember.
The abductor, wait, yeah, adduct? Which
my adductors, my adductors, which are the inner quad muscles, stronger than mine, because he said
abductor muscles are significantly stronger than the adductor muscles.
No, my adductors are weaker.
Yeah, it says they're typically stronger than the adductors.
Because he said when he was doing the test, he's noticed no sports hernia or anything like that, which we were dealing with. We thought because the MRI showed nothing, but we wanted to make sure to rule it out completely. He pressed on my abdominal area where a sports hernia would be. He felt some tenderness on the lower quad. It was just more tightness or anything. And he also just kind of pressed around. He felt nothing. It was every time he pressed on something, it would go directly to my hip. So he's like, there's something definitely wrong with the hip and the bone and something like that, which is like, I knew that already. And he's like, when he did he pressed, you know that thing where they put like a hand or something,
yeah, and
then you go like you press against their hand or vice versa, where you press against and you do the abductors. Like you could, like my abductors are so weak that you can't. It's bad. Like he could feel it, and so what that is causing can cause a hip drop, and essentially could have caused my femoral hip impingement, which I still believe I have, which can cause a labral tear, because literally all these things kind of like intertwine with one another. You got the femoral hip impingement, which can cause a labral tear, which can cause a sports hernia. Basically, all the lower leg injuries are all connected to some degree. It really just depends, like how you treat it, what you do to it. When you normally get like a sports hernia or something, he basically said, I would basically do what you did this whole time. So you got your sports hernia. So for which you diagnose it with the MRI, or you do all these tests. So once you diagnose it, you would basically say, lay off of it for 6 weeks. Once you do that, you do strengthening, you go to PT, you do cold compress therapy, you do muscle scraping, you do muscle, I don't know, all these weird things, and then you actually go to the
typically any leg injury can lead to another leg injury.
Yeah.
When I had my glute pain, that led to a meniscus pain.
I can't believe
you
now interrupted me.
Foot pain, so on.
Yeah, I know. It all led to one another. And did you notice sure you're a runner, and so you won't really have much injuries up here, as like a swimmer won't really have leg injuries. Yeah. But that's why you probably have leg injuries, but still, your leg injuries are basically all connected. And also, if you realize, so my abductor, whatever, no, what am I saying? I only know what I'm saying. So, like, he said, God, what was I talking about, bro? What was I talking about? No, like, seriously. Like, he said, it's annoying. Oh my God. It's annoying me.
Is it because I interrupted you?
It is. No, like, seriously. You interrupted me and I forgot my train of thought.
Okay, anyways, I may make it pop back into your head. So anyways, my leg injury led into another leg injury to another leg injury. It's just because of the form changes, or you're trying to compensate something. Literally, I could be compensating something at work, which can lead into another injury. Literally, when I had my plantar, I could be walking all funky and running, and end up causing a glute pain with my my quad tendonitis. It can easily come back. Easily, tendonitis flares up. It can easily flare up. This foot, Still not better. I was gonna try like walk today, but I really couldn't. I just like my heel hurt in my shoe. Like my shoes are hurting my foot. I feel like.
You need
But
to get some heel pads.
when I get into my work shoes, they don't really hurt it. So it's like,
Well, vice versa for me. Vice versa. They literally have no support, and so they hurt.
it's like do I want to change out of hokas? I'm always thinking about my neck. I might have to get a pair of like Brooks or something. But first I really need to get my foot better because I want to start running, but I'm like, and I feel like I don't have a motivation if I don't start running because I feel like I can go running, but technically I can't, and I want to start running when I don't really feel any crunching in my foot, which there is still so much, like, it's ridiculous. It's probably like worse than last week. It really is.
Yeah, and when you say, like, I want to go running, but, like, you can't because you're scared of the pain, you feel like you just kind of, like, lost the motivation to go for a run. You feel like you don't like the sport of running anymore. You feel like you don't have the same motivation. You feel like you aren't as motivated as you were before you got injured. You just kind of, like, lost all the motivation. And it really, like...
I'm a slump.
Like, you just kind of, like, oh, my God, I can't believe I lost this much motivation.
An injury makes you feel like you lost a lot of motivation. Like when I got my injury,
and you don't like the sport anymore.
Like when I got my injury, I had time to like sleep in and stuff. And like, oh my God, I would feel so guilty. Like when I sleep in, I would spend like the first 15 minutes of my day thinking like, why did you sleep in? It's like almost easier to not sleep in. Like it really is. Like since I don't have work tomorrow for like. Literally for the only day of the week where I don't have work, I'm thinking about like sleeping until like 6:30, and
oh my God, it is the only day.
It is the only day I don't have work, because on Saturday I gotta wake up like at 5 a.m.
Why?
So I don't have to do my chores on Sunday. That was so nice when I don't have to do my chores on Sunday.
It was
like really nice. Like oh my God. Especially since I don't even know how I would have time to do my chores on Sunday.
No,
Sunday was so stressful.
I really did not think I don't even know how I would have had time to do my chores.
Like it was always
because I literally ate breakfast at like 9:50 and then right away I had to leave like right after.
No, I was already stressed out on Sunday. Like it was so stressful because I woke up and
This moment's giving me deja vu.
It felt like kind of like normal. Like I slept in 8 o'clock, which it was. I slept into 8 o'clock.
I was finishing my strength routine, and you were still sleeping.
I went to bed really late that
I did too. I went to bed later than you.
Did you?
I did. Yes, I did. I always go to bed later than you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because who's the harder worker? I am.
Kim. No, but 12, speaking of harder worker, I don't really care about if I be selfish and buy a camera. I gotta buy a trainer because I'm tired of like biking in the wind every day.
You said in your video, this is exact word for word.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna be selfish, I'm gonna buy a camera.
You know what's also funny is I'm not buying a bike right now. I'm gonna buy a $7,000 bike.
Huh?
No, like when I'm editing a video, like it says I'm gonna buy a $7,000 bike. I'm not gonna buy a bike till like much later because I'm gonna spend a good $7,000 on a bike.
Why didn't you end up doing that?
Cause I don't want a bike that much right now. You know how much Mom and Dad would have flipped out? Literally, it's as much as our car. It's like $2,000 cheaper than our car.
Yeah, but I mean,
our bike is my bike is the same weight as
Overall, you still want a beginner bike. Overall,
Trek on the one I got is a beginner bike. It is the lowest quality version of the Amandos.
Yeah, but
especially since it is a 2021.
I would say our bike was good, or Giant Content 3. It lasted a good bit of miles, and it's a good starter bike to get used to the road feel. See if you really like a road bike, because some people might not like a road bike.
Or my bike right now is heavier than what we used to have.
No, it's not.
It just feels like it because of the carbon.
The way the weight is placed.
Yeah. And the good thing is the cables are hitting, so it's an internal routing cable. So the beach wouldn't really mess up the cables, and also it won't rust. because it is carbon.
When we were cycling on Saturday, literally, when you were first catching up to me, that first time, you turned around and we were with each other for like 2 minutes, and then you slowly, and then ended up like really just starting to pull from me. And you were probably, what were you cycling at? 20 miles an hour? Because I was cycling at 16. 15, 16 on the way back.
So
I started off too fast.
So first, yeah, I did too.
And then my back was hurting.
Like
you know how sometimes when you have
I will say,
have you ever had lower back pain when cycling?
Dude, it's so common for me. That's why I didn't want to get the Trek Amanda. No, I almost went with the Trek Damani because it's more of a touring bike. I would have gotten the carbon. I think they do have a carbon version, but I'm not really sure. Whatever it was, it was actually lighter than Amanda, but it's not as aero, and it's more for a touring bike, so it's not gonna go as fast, but it's gonna take you over that longer distance, much more comfortable. So I could have been like, and it was actually more expensive. The Damani is $200 more expensive. And so I almost went with it, but I'm like, and I actually kind of liked it better than Amanda, but at the same time, when I test rode it, I just felt more comfortable on the Amanda in a way. I like being in the TT position, but the Amanda is kind of uncomfortable at times, and I kind of have to get definitely used to it because,
the bike you have right now?
Yeah.
Why is that uncomfortable?
It has that, it's just, I forget what you call it, but it has it's just, I don't know what they say about it, but it can be uncomfortable where, your quads I might have to end up getting a bike fit for it because the way it's positioned, it's the same geometry as the Madone, which the Madone is an aero bike, and aero bikes are pretty uncomfortable. They're only typically for a quick little race that you're gonna do, and so that race not gonna last that long, so you can deal with the uncomfortableness. But I don't know how you deal with that, but I can notice like sometimes my quads are burning just because of the position I'm in. It can affect that, but also my back can sometimes hurt. But it's just something to get used to over time. I know you'll get used to it. Just like being in a TT position, your body will end up adapting to it. And so it's like almost if you run barefoot. Like it might be hard to get used to, and your feet might be a little sore after. But you'll get used to it. I would definitely get used to this bike. Over time, it's a little like I wish I was able to test ride it, not drive it, for at least an hour. But it's not really. Couldn't do that. But overall, I do really like the bike. I was able to bike 19.1 miles per hour today. It wasn't that windy out, but I hate cycling in our neighborhood. That's why I love Zwift. That's why I need a trainer right now to bike on Zwift. And I just love open roads, flat. I don't really care if it's flat. No, actually I do wish we had hills because, literally, the Trek Amanda is a climbing bike, and I can tell that it's very lightweight on those hills. I don't know why it's lightweight on those hills, even though it's a pretty heavy bike. That bike weighs 18.9 pounds.
It's lighter than our Giant Contend. Our Giant Contend's like 21. 20.
But,
something like that.
I will say, if I bike today with the Giant, I would be biking them probably around 18.5 miles per hour. As you can tell, 18.5 to 19.1 isn't a big difference, but over time it can really add up.
Yeah, literally, when you ride 2 hours, you cycle a mile faster, and that could be a big margin. If you were cycling on the Tour de France or something, that's a big margin. It's a big.
Typically, when I was doing research on the bikes, they were always talking about the difference in speed, especially when you go up a climb. And typically, yeah, so it's gonna save you time by a lot. But I kind of wish we did live in a hilly area, just because my type of bike that I do have is a climbing bike, but it's also an aero bike. And I always do want aero bars for my bike. I love the TT position. It is discomfort. I cannot stay in that for a very long time.
I don't stay in this position. I'll put my.
Well, yeah, I'll put it. And my arms kind of like curve into kind of like be as air as possible. But I don't know how I could be in the TT position because I end up riding. My neck just goes down. Like I'm like pick it up. Nope, it just goes down. And I'm not looking at the road anymore. Before you know it, I'm 2 inches away from hitting the back of a car, literally. And but yeah, I hate cycling in our neighborhood. That's why I love Zwift, and it's very, very beneficial. And so, if you have like you have to cycle late at night or in the rain or it's too windy, just go on Zwift. Especially with hurricane season coming up, we're probably gonna get rain, and I can't cycle with rain. Well, I mean you can, but like
you don't want to cycle with your new bike in rain.
No, definitely.
You know what you need is mud gears or mud gaiters or something, where you put it around your tire rim, and it prevents it from really getting into your gears.
Now the problem with the truck Amanda, it cannot cycle on gravel or dirt or anything.
Yes, it can. You just change the tire.
It's not made to do that. You can ruin the bike. It said when I looked it up.
You just change the tire.
Technically, you can cycle just the way, but the way the bike's made, you don't want to typically do it. I looked it up. It might not be for all the Amandas, but apparently for my Amanda that I got. But you're yawning now too. I'm boring, man.
No, you just change the tire. That's all you need to do is change the tire.
No, but okay.
Yes, any frame could get damaged from rocks hitting.
The thing about Trek. Everybody go buy a Trek bike if you're buying a Trek bike. Literally?
What?
Go buy literally,
a Trek bike if you're buying a Trek bike.
Oh, okay, if you're buying a bike, buy a Trek. Not sponsored. Kind of wish I was at this point. But I'm not sponsored by
not a
Trek.
Canyon? Why not a Giant?
I don't know if any other site, but I know Trek does because I just bought one.
Why not a Canyon? Why not a Giant?
Trek gives you I'm sure other cycling companies do this. But I just know for sure Trek does this, where they give you a lifetime warranty on your frame. Where whenever your frame breaks, they'll just ship you a new one. Unless you purposely damage it, but if you like crash your bike or it just kind of mechanical, like they'll send you a new frame. And then also the bike shop I bought it from, they have a full year.
Hey, what does Nambo have? What bike does he have?
A whole bunch.
No, like, what's his main brand?
None brands we know, really.
Wait, really? None of the frames?
The top 3 brands I know is Trek, Giant, and Canyon.
And Giant. And what's that brand that, Mr. Blumenfeld does?
I don't even know.
I don't even know what it's called. But, he's sponsored by it somehow. And I don't even know the company. And so it makes me want to buy that bike. Cadex.
Cadex, yeah.
Cadex. Like, I didn't hear of that bike until Blumenfeld. And the thing is, you really never heard about Blumenfeld until he won the Olympics. And now everybody knows him now. At least I think you would.
Low-key, I was rooting for him in the Ironman.
Uh-huh. Because it just shows you that a heavier athlete could... you don't have to... If, say, like, you were Sam Long, lighter, leaner, everything, compared to Blumenfeld. If you compare the two body types, Sam Long is a much more taller, thinner, lighter athlete versus Blumenfeld, more stocky, more shorter. He's shorter, stockier, more bigger, heavier.
But more fit.
But he is essentially more fit because he won the race. He won. He's able to run a sub 28-minute 10K. He's able to.
I think he is. I don't know, but I know for sure he ran a sub 30-minute 10K
after what happened after Tokyo swim and bike in the Olympics.
At the heat,
humidity, and everything like that.
Insane.
You know what's really bothering me right now, though? Like literally bothering me is I'm still thinking of what I was saying of what the doctor, and it's really like irritating my mind. Like, you know when you forget a thought, like,
yeah,
and you just want to try and like remember it, but you just can't remember it for some reason, and like you try to refresh your mind, you try to do everything that you can, but for some reason you just cannot bring it into your mind. Like, you just can't. Like, I'm trying so hard to just recall what I was trying to say, but for some reason I can't recall what I was trying to say.
But speaking of what I was trying to talk about, the our neighborhood, I hate cycling in that. So many turns, the roads are so bumpy, especially at the end of South Tiger Bend. That road is so freaking bumpy. I literally did not even want to go on it. It's so irritating. It's so bumpy.
I like how they did.
And it makes it so.
I like how they
slow.
redid the other side, the Hoosha 2 side. The other side where Elliot or something to Hoosha 2.
Wow, was it messed up?
No, it was earlier. Yeah, it used to be really bumpy. It used to be worn down.
I know.
And now it's like dark black. It's more like whatever you want to call it.
That's why I love cycling at the beach. I cannot wait for
it
the
was
beach.
paved.
I cannot wait to cycle at the beach. It's 100-mile days, 7 days in a row, Tour de France type of deal. Literally, that's how it's gonna be probably, especially since I can't run. And I know you know what I said last year? I said I'm gonna follow a training plan at the beach. Well, since I had literally no training plan, I can't run. I'm just gonna be like cycling.
But look what happened to you when you did that.
What happened?
Really? Really?
What happened?
You got that glute injury.
That was before.
You still went from 0 to 100. We gonna discuss this again?
I literally went before.
No.
Yeah.
I know, but then you developed it again after the beach.
No, I got it before.
And after.
No.
Yes.
I told you I was cycling with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I had it before I went to the beach anyways, like right before.
And you rode with it and it flared up again.
No. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. You don't know my body.
That's why you were cycling.
No.
I mean, that's why you weren't cycling.
The reason I wasn't cycling is because I told you, if I wasn't at the beach, I wouldn't be cycling. But I was at the beach. So I decided to cycle with the pain.
Because you developed the pain at the beach on your run on Wednesday.
Yes.
Exactly.
Before any day I biked. Before any time I biked at the beach.
Did you exactly.
Yeah.
You developed it on the beach.
On the beach.
No, but you said you developed it before the beach.
I mean, I technically did, but...
And then you went from 0 to 100, and then you took a break, and then you went from... Ooh. You went from 0 to 100 again, and then you stopped, and then you acting like you upping it up slowly.
I am.
And then you go and be like, I'm at the beach, I'm going to cycle.
No, sooner or later,
700.
it's about to be ramped up again.
Dude, do you really want to do that and not be consistent like you were doing?
No, I am going to be... Who knows? That's why I need to work every day, because it gives me a time limit on the bike.
No, that's... What I don't want to do is when I get my injury fixed, I don't want to work. No, what really just irritates me is why am I injured right now? Like, why do I have to be injured when I have more freedom? Like, when I grow up, like, I'm gonna be moved out, obviously. And, I mean, I should be at least. I would think I would be moved out by the time that. And obviously I'm gonna have to start paying bills and rent and everything like that. I'm gonna have less free time, and then I won't be able to like cycle and run all day. So like, why does this injury have to happen like right now, when I have more freedom and I could essentially do these long cycle all day, where I stop at like Subway and stuff and go get a sandwich and then go back and then cycle and then do this all day and then do a run all day and do like a run walk all day. Like, I can do all this. Or, like, I can't because of this injury, when I have more freedom. And when this flexible schedule goes away, I will be injured free. Hopefully I'd be injured free, but I will not be able to have the freedom of cycling the whole day or running the whole day or anything like that, because I would have to work.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I hope I can be a professional athlete. Speaking of professional athlete, before I buy a camera, I'm buying a new trainer. After I buy a new trainer, well, first, before I buy a new trainer, Apparently gotta get new tires for a car, but after all that, buying a trainer. After I buy a trainer...
Wait, so you're buying a trainer, then you're buying new tires, then you're buying another trainer?
No.
That's what you're saying.
No, I said before I buy a trainer, I'm gonna have to buy new tires for a car. After that, I'm gonna buy a new trainer. After my new trainer, I'm gonna buy a gym membership. So I can start swimming.
What about the camera? When did this camera come in place?
After the gym.
When do you think you're gonna get a new camera?
A new camera? I never had a camera.
I mean, when do you think you're gonna get a camera?
Hopefully.
When do you think? What time frame?
That's hard to say. I don't know.
December?
I hope to God not. That means I would have no money in my bank. No, I have a list of what I'm gonna buy. Stuff I'm gonna buy. No, not. I need to put it in order. But boa shorts are on that list.
Are you buying any more hoka slides?
I would need. That's such a not a necessity.
What I want to buy is the $250
Oh, a power meter. That's gonna have to us being after the camera.
What I really want to buy is the $250 for my hip. The $250 thing for my hip where it does cold compress therapy to my hip. You know, Therabody. That's what I've been wanting to do it, but I never put $250 into my savings because literally all the money I make at work goes into my savings. All of our Patreon money goes into our bank account, essentially, like savings. Where like, by the way, I'm using our Patreon money to get a hard drive. I told you this already, right? So I can buy. I did tell you this. Well, I'm gonna buy a 5 terabyte hard drive.
See, you're buying stuff when
I always told you this though. I'm buying it for a business. You decide to buy a gear. I'm a gear luber for your bike with the Amazon gift card. You decided to buy that, which was for you and not for both of us. This
technically it can be. Your change is nasty.
This 5 terabyte thing. Okay, one thing I did do was buy car lights, but that was
okay. Yeah, we did not need that. Like,
yeah,
literally,
you said you couldn't even drive without them.
Yeah, but I literally could have dropped until you got them. And plus, they literally almost made me get in a car accident today because they came apart. They literally started, they tangled my foot. I had to stop in the gas station and be like, I had to untangle it.
You just have to tape it.
You can't untape. I don't know. It's cheap.
And then it's $20.
It's $20.
Okay,
my degreaser.
Am I able to buy a 5 terabyte thing for?
Sure. Because technically not in my bank account. You want to know something?
What?
You know that how Dad's money dropped? When y'all walked out the door, well, actually when I walked out the door to go cycling this morning, that money was laying in the freaking driveway. Literally on the sidewalk, and I picked it up and put it in my cycling kit, in my cycling jersey. And literally when Dad called me about the money, I'm like, I totally forgot about it. And it wasn't even on my mind. I didn't know what he asked, really. And then when I left the phone call, I'm like, oh my God, the money. The money that I found, the $160 that I found. And so I hid it somewhere. It's like I hid it where
Did you give it back to him?
Yeah, I hid it to where it
Wait,
looks
is that
like,
why he found it?
Yeah, I hid it like
I thought I bet you felt like you found $160 and now you feel.
No, I knew it was that because I knew how much money he had up in there, and so literally, when I went to go put it somewhere to where like, oh, like he didn't see it because I didn't want to say, oh my God, I kept it, because then it sounds like I'm stealing it, and I didn't want that.
Oh, the amount I remember I found like it literally looked like a drug thing. You didn't know this, but remember when we were out to eat, and then we were walking because we were walking up and down that bridge, and how I found that $100-something on the street on a money clip, and it was just out on the street. And
was this in Florida?
No, remember we were at when Nana and Papa's thing or whatever. I found that you walked past it, and I found it at the right time, essentially. and it looked like it literally. I bought. You know what I bought with that?
What?
I bought my my bike. What do you call that thing where you store everything in it? Where you store like a flat. I mean, an extra tube where you store all your stuff in it. That's what I bought with it, and it was like, I don't know how much it was. Okay, so the camera battery just died, which is actually kind of a good thing because I got to see what I was actually saying earlier in the vlog when I just kind of, my mind just kind of went blank, and now I get to
binge, boy.
And I actually remember.
Come here, binge.
And I actually remember what I was saying, and what I was saying was actually that when you get a sports hernia or any type of injury, like which a sports hernia is basically like a core injury. It's also known as a core injury, which basically when that happens is when you first will go to you sit there and rest, and then you will try to basically go to PT, do all the cold compress therapy and everything like that, and then you will try to cycle, see what or run or do whatever sport you would normally do, and see what happens then. If it flares up, you might have to get surgery or something like that. But basically I did everything what the doctor would have basically made me do PT, basically test out the injury, cycling and running, basically do cold compress therapy, relax the hip, do everything like that, just relax basically everything. And yeah, that's essentially what I did, and that's essentially what he would have done. And yeah, basically I would say the sports hernia, he said that the sports hernia is more seen in soccer players because of the stop and start motion, football players because of the stop and start motion, and he's now more seen the sports hernia in longer distance running and longer distance type of running, and like ultra runners type of deal and stuff. But are we
speaking of ultra running, you know, I also can see myself as a professional ultra runner.
Yeah.
Because
no, ultra trail mountain runner.
Yeah, because I like see like Seth. Not Seth. What the heck? No, because I don't have like the speed in my legs, especially now since.
Yeah, because you know what caused my hip to flare up?
Speed.
Yeah, and you know what didn't? It was Colorado. That was a long, slow uphill distance.
And like, so I might be like.
You might be what?
So like I could like run 250 miles. That's growing. That's like that's horrible. Literally, let's say you have like you're 25 miles to 100.
Dude, I cycled when you do 50 miles. You really have to set your mind to basically saying, I have 200 more miles left, and you're not even cycling that. You're running 200 more miles.
And typically always with elevation.
When I used to cycle like 125 something miles, when I would cross the 25 mile mark, I'd be like, oop, you got 100 more miles. That just seemed like a long distance. And think of ultra racing. When you really are basically saying, ooh, you know how Nick Bear ran 100 miles, and every time you hear someone running 100 miles, you're like, oh my God, that's easy. I mean, it's just 100 miles. I rode 100 miles. But you really have to put that distance into perspective. That's 100 miles. That's literally from, I think, Nevada, Las Vegas to Los Angeles.
No, like, literally,
100 miles. 100 miles is a long distance. When you hit mile 1,
you think about it, it really is though.
When you hit mile 1, you have 99 more of those miles. And
the crazy thing is, you know how long
it's easier said than done. Every time you say I can easily run 100 miles because it's just 100 miles, go run a marathon. You literally have like 4 more marathons after that.
Wait, no.
No, you have around 3 more marathons after that. Imagine running 3 more marathons.
No.
Literally, that is hard. You have to put it into perspective. Like, it's easier said than done, because when you're actually on the course saying, I've got to run 100 miles, it's hard. That's why, like, Leadville 100, bad water, because you got the elevation, but then you got the downhill, which kills the quads, and uphill, which kills the hamstrings and glutes, and then you got the heat in bad water, which really just messes up your whole nutrition, makes you want to bonk, and makes you want to quit.
No, seriously though,
Woof.
like, you can cycle 100 miles in your neighborhood. It doesn't sound like that much, but literally go 100 miles out, okay? Like, where you go literally from here and you just go straight 100 miles out.
New Orleans to Baton Rouge.
Basically.
But even that's not 100 miles, but if you take the detour route, you'll get...
Literally, that's not even 100 miles. The fact that I biked 118 miles in just the Orange Beach area. You know where that can get me? That can get me to...
Biloxi.
Basically, yeah, Biloxi.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Because you just stretch out that distance. If you don't do loops or anything like that, stretch out the distance, you can get a far way long. And you know what I really wanted to do in Florida is just cycle from one place to another. You stay at a hotel, and then you grab breakfast, and then you head out. All day cycle. That's what I really want to do.
I want to do the panhandle of Florida.
Or the perimeter of the United States. Or just across the United States. Which is such a grueling cycling race, because you only have a certain amount of days to complete.
Wait, it's an actual cycling race?
Yeah, it's called look it up. It's called it's called Cycling Across America. No, it's called the Ride Across America. It takes place in like June. They canceled it 1 year because of COVID. And then you got the transatlantic bike.
That's hard, I heard.
Which is like around.
It's June 14th.
Yeah, the race across America.
It's 5 days.
5 days to ride around 3,000 miles. 3,000 miles. What do you average that? It's about 3,000 miles.
170 feet of vertical.
No.
Dude, I don't even cycle 3,000 miles.
You don't climb 170 feet.
170,000.
Yeah. Wait, look it up on how much average you would climb. I mean, how much per day you would cycle. It's around like 800, 700 something miles per day to cycle. And you gotta sleep still. You got your nutrition. Like, at that point, you're not pushing for power. You're pushing for sustainability. But you have to average around 18 miles an hour to complete that with sleeping and stopping. No, that's a transatlantic deal. So that means you are pushing a good bit of power. You know that, right? And imagine if you have the headwind the whole race. You gotta push even more power. And you have to, because you have to literally go a certain speed to be able to finish that race in the 5-day period. Like, think of Hella Sidibe and Robbie Ballinger completing the thing across America. Literally, that's hard. The thing is, when he raced the Tesla, he had to race. He basically raced without even knowing how fully charged, because I don't think he officially knew how long that Tesla could last, because it's different, you know.
Yeah, you have to average 600 miles a day.
He had to not stop. He couldn't.
Roughly.
He couldn't even sleep. When he ran the 250 miles, he could not sleep. He could not. Literally, he could stop for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, but literally could not sleep, because if he slept, that means he bonked. That means he stopped first. It means he ran out of gas he needed to first, you know. That's essentially what that means. It's basically like if the Tesla got the power it needed to. Basically, when we sleep, we recharge our battery. When the Tesla sleep, it basically bonked, which means it ran out of the charge it needed to.
Yeah.
So he could not sleep.
No, but out of every I want to be a professional runner, because cycling can get like, I'm not a good cyclist and I'm not a good swimmer, but I can just run. Not just run, but run forever. I don't really have the speed in my legs, especially anymore, but I can still cover so much distance. And so, like, what I did in Georgia, that's unlike what a 15-year-old typically does, because if you think about it, we were 15-year-old 15 when we were doing this, and it's unlike a 15-year-old doing that. So like,
yeah, when we did that, I forget that we were 15 years old doing these things, or 14 years old doing these things. When I rode my first 100-mile bike ride, I was 14.
That's insane. Literally, you want to know something?
What?
The fastest cycling of the USA by an individual, as set as an individual by yourself, no support team, was achieved by Christopher Strasser from Australia in 7 days, 15 hours, 56 seconds, cycling from Oceanside, California to
New York.
Annapolis, Maryland.
Ooh, your breath stink, dog. Wait, where?
Annapolis.
How much miles is that?
I can't figure that out. He averaged a speed of 16.42 miles per hour.
16 point for 7 days straight without stop.
Basically,
With stopping. It's absurd. And then you got the runners that do that, like 24-hour record. Doing
Alexander Swerkin is literally the best ultra runner in my opinion. He might not have the mountain type of deal.
Does he do this for a job?
Yeah.
He does.
He's a professional.
He's considered professional.
Yeah.
Even without the huge following and stuff.
Yeah.
How much followers does he have?
Not that much. I'm sure he gained a lot throughout the time, especially with all the world and national records he has by now. But having the 24-hour world record running about like 180 or so miles.
He's not known. He's like, I bet many people don't know him. Like, let us know in the comments down below if you know, what's his name?
Alexander Swerkin.
Yeah, Alexander Swerkin. And if you also know, what other, question of the day, do you know any major athletes that many people don't know but they hold extreme records? Like, these crazy Guinness World Records, but in the athletic world. Not necessarily like crushing 100 watermelons in 10 seconds with your head. Like, those are some dumb records that you get known
192.252 miles for 24 hours. You run 192 miles in 24 hours.
192 miles in 24 hours?
Yeah. Think about it. You run 92 miles, you have to run 100 more miles at like a 7:20 pace.
Literally, I can cycle that, but like that would take me 16 hours to cycle around because my legs would get fatigued. And he's running at this pace. That's literally absurd for 24 hours straight, and he's stopping. Like, imagine that. And I get
it's
it.
7:30 pace. Imagine running 7:30 pace for just, I don't know, 5 hours, 6 hours. Imagine doing that for literally 20 hours more. Brutal.
And to know
during my marathon fitness, I probably could have ran 7:30 pace for at least 6 hours.
And to know that
to think to do it for 18
and
more
to
hours.
know that you have to hold that pace.
And that's insane.
You have to hold that pace and say that I was able to run this pace. You have to hold it. That's literally absurd. That's just absolutely mind-blowing. Like, when I was... Yes, I get that you have to work up to it, because when I was cycling last week, and when I cycled on last Tuesday, when I cycled on Saturday, I noticed, like, oh my god, fatigue is building up. My back is hurting. All the little things that could go wrong just makes you want to stop, you know? Like, my back is hurting, I just want to stop it, burn so bad. Oh, my legs are starting to fatigue out, I just want to go home. Then your mind, when you tell yourself, oh, my quads are burning, you should just go home, then your mind really starts to get to you and tells you want to quit. So that's what I really wanted to do last Tuesday, and I also wanted to do last Saturday for the 40-mile bike ride. You know how my bike route made a loop? I was like, why go down this road? You know, why not just turn around? Because I was like, you're just going to turn around at mile 15, make it 30. But I was like, okay, why don't I do the loop? I know it's around like 38 miles. And then when I got to mile 30, I'm like, you'll be done. My mind started to get to me and basically tell me, you need to stop. You need to quit. Like, I'm done. I'm tired. Just give Matthew the keys and tell him, because he's way ahead of you. Like, just stop. This is tiring. And then my mind officially was set on 40 miles. And the fact that I knew to get back to our car was 8 more miles. The fact that I had to go 10 more miles, which I knew was around 36 minutes to pay the speed I was traveling, just made me more like fatigued. Like 36 more minutes with your back hurting this much, with your quads gonna soon start fatiguing, your glute. Like, can you really go this much longer? So it's all about the mental game at that point. It's really all about the mental power. How much can you really go further? It's all up to your mind. Like, literally all up to your mind. If you are trying to achieve something, you can't have a bad mindset to something that you do. You have to have a good, achievable mindset. You have to say that I can conquer this goal. I can do this. Like, if your mindset starts to go into this deep, dark world, you have to try to fill it with something that I can achieve this goal. If I said, I'm just going to turn around, not make this loop, first off, when I got back to the car, I feel like I would have quit on myself because I didn't do the full loop, which is around 38 miles. And I knew I set my mind to end up doing the full loop once I saw the whole Strava thing. And then I knew that I set my mind to end up doing 40 miles. So if I just capped it off at 38 miles when we reached the car, I felt like I wouldn't have that accomplishing feeling of quit. I felt like I would quit on myself. And then the fact that I knew my back was hurting, which I was like, you should just get off the bike and stretch it out. I didn't do that because once I knew I stopped, I basically would have stopped because maybe I would have got sick, or because I did get really sick after the bike ride, and I really did. Like, I passed out on the couch, felt really sick. I had to take Motrin and just did not feel good at all. I literally just, I didn't have the podcast out for Sunday because I just couldn't. I felt so sick, and I was very productive that whole day, but I didn't do any YouTube stuff. But I just was like, what would happen if I stopped? Would I continue? Would I give Matthew the keys to come get me? Would I even continue? Would I really want to stop? Or like, what would happen if you stopped? Would you really want to get back on your bike and cycle 20 more miles? Like, what would happen if you stopped? And then your mind would really like, well, if you stop, you race it 10 more minutes. And then when you get to the basically 10 more minutes left of your bike ride, your mind would basically be like, I would have been done. So if you reach the car in that 10 minutes, you'd be like, okay, why not just cap it off here? I mean, you're at the car, you would have been finished if you didn't stop. Like, so many things. You just have to have the right mindset. If you don't have the right mindset when doing a marathon or a long distance activity or a speed workout or a certain activity or just any long run or anything like that,
typically you have to plan it the night before.
That is physically demanding, you're going to get you have to have the right mindset, or you're going to get mentally drained, and like, you're going to want to quit. And the good thing to do, like you said, is planning out the night before. Plan your route so you don't have to stress about it. Plan how much miles you're going to do. Plan out your nutrition. Lay out all your gear. Lay out all your nutrition. Lay out everything that you need to have in order to conquer that goal. Because if you are scrambling in the morning of, oh, I need to grab this nutrition. Oh, where is it? Oh, where's my route? What am I going to do this morning? Oh, you didn't check the weather. Oh, it's storming out today. You're going to, all these little things are going to stress you out, and you're not going to have the right mindset to complete this goal, and you're just going to give up and give in and be like, what is the point? I don't have my nutrition laid out. I don't have my gear laid out. It's storming outside. Like, why would I do this? Because I didn't check it the night before to do this. I didn't do any of it the night before. I didn't check to see what was going to go right for me. I didn't check to make sure I have everything laid out, and then that's going to set the bad mindset. It's going to set a bad tone, and then you're going to want to actually quit in the middle of the ride, and that's not going to be what you want to do, essentially. Because it all starts from in the mind. It all starts from up here. If you don't have what's up here, or you don't have what's essentially what you need, which is all in the mind, you're not going to have the right stamina. I could essentially go run a marathon right now. I could. I just have to have the right mindset. I could. I have enough. I wouldn't be able to run the whole marathon. I would have to walk it. Would I feel maybe sore the next day? Yeah, probably. But at the end of the day, I have to have the right mindset to walk a whole marathon. I could essentially walk a whole marathon. It might take all day to walk 26.2 miles, but I can do it by the right mindset, because I would be able to do it, essentially, you know?
Yeah,
I would. It's just conquering 1 mile at a time, take it little by little, but at the end of your mind, you know that your end goal is 26.2 miles. I just have the right mindset to achieve big goals like that. Like, I can essentially go and say, tomorrow I'm going to do a marathon. And at mile 13, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to quit. I literally am only halfway there. Would I give up? Probably not. Because what is more accomplishing feeling? The feeling of quitting, which will last forever, or the feeling of accomplishment, which will only last about a day, an hour or so. But it's such a great feeling that you know you accomplish your goal and you know that you achieve something great. But what happens when you quit on something? What does that happen? What effect does that leave on you? You feel like you're going to quit on everything else you do. It sets the tone for yourself. It shows that you're basically going to quit on every other thing. I don't have that mindset where if I quit on something, I don't quit on something. I don't give in. I don't give up. I don't do anything like that, because literally what happens if you quit on one thing? It sets the tone for who you are for the rest of yourself. You're going to actually quit more and more and more on everything you do. You have to have the right mindset in everything you do, or you are going to quit on yourself. You know, like you just have to have the right mind. Like, I have the right mindset to not quit on something, because if you quit on one thing, what's going to tell you about your other things you're going to do? You're probably going to quit on it.
Yeah, like during my marathon, I planned and prepared for so long during my marathon that when I reached around like mile 20 and even just around mile like 13, I'm like, this is brutal. But I had so much adrenaline running that it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that brutal because I planned it for so long and I wanted to reach that full marathon distance. At the end of the day, my time goal was not really a time goal. It was overall just to finish the marathon. But I wanted a time goal. I wanted to be competitive with myself and get a sub 3. And I'm like, if you stop to go to the bathroom, you know how that's going to react to the body. You will not probably be able to run anymore, and it might screw you up, because then the stomach muscles get to finally relax, and you might be able not to be able to run anymore because of that. But I had just so much adrenaline rushing that typically that stomach pain that I was developing would have been aggravating. All that pain in my quads and my quads burning would have been aggravating and telling me to stop more. But I planned this marathon for so long that it was bothering me, but I could fight through it more than I typically would, because it's all about the mental mind, the mental side of it. And so when I was in mile 20, I'm like, that is a 10K left. About the pace that you're going right now, that's about running about a 40. You have about 41 minutes left to go till you cross that finish line. And I can start picturing that in my head. When I reach the 5K mark, I can just see the finish line. I can see me putting my hands up, just being so proud of myself of running 26.2 miles at the 2:54 that I did, crying in joy, just, I don't know. But not to mention the days that come after.
You know, what helps with your mindset is doing it with people. Because this race right here did not feel like 15 miles.
It really, oh my god, it really didn't. Like, it felt like I ran a mile.
Uh-huh. Because I really think...
I don't even really remember it.
I really don't.
Honestly, it feels like I didn't even run 26.2 miles. It low-key felt so fast. I don't know if it was because I was running way faster than I normally did, and the miles just ticked away so fast. I bet for an elite
I think it's the caffeine. Because when I used to do long runs and stuff, like literally, when I would have caffeine, my paces would be faster. But the beginning of the easy mileage, the warm-up, it would just tick away so fast. Remember that? Remember we told each other that? Like, literally, this run would tick by faster than any... It would feel shorter and feel faster than the easy 8-mile runs we did.
Like, it's just... I wonder how fast it feels for you to run a 2-hour marathon. I wonder how quick the miles like. Oh my god, I'm at mile 5. I'm only like 16 minutes in. Not necessarily, you're not actually, but you get the idea. Like, I'm 4 miles in at 16 minutes in. 17, like, imagine. Imagine cycling 26 miles per hour. Literally at 30 minutes, you're already 13 miles in. After swimming, and you know you have a run next. Literally, with 7,500 feet of climbing.
Literally, St. George, Christian Blumenthal. Like, literally. 20-something miles an hour. 25 plus miles an hour. After knowing that he had to run 26.2 miles after. And he swam 2.4 miles before. Like, that's absurd. Like, literally absurd. Like, could you imagine even...
I can't imagine biking 26 miles per hour for a half mile.
No, imagine saying, I have to do an Ironman today. You know that you have a 15-hour event planned for you. Depending on your goal, obviously, but the average Ironman finish
It's 14 hours and 46 minutes, I think.
Yeah. It's close to the 15-hour mark. Like, imagine that you have a 15-hour day ahead of you. You're finishing around at 7 o'clock. No, even later than that. Like, 10 o'clock. No, like, seriously, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
The cutoff time is 17 hours?
Yeah, it typically starts at, let's see.
7?
Let's say 7, yeah.
You have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5, and then 15 hours will only get you till literally 10 o'clock at night. Am I right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Literally, you probably don't have the greatest sleep. And you don't even want to eat after. You're probably so tired. And you're probably feeling sick after.
Like Christian Blumenfeld literally had a puke bag during
Like, you know how I felt after that cycle?
Mm-hmm.
Like that cycle we did on Tuesday? And I end up, as you move the car more, and I end up, like, we weren't walking, but you were driving more and more and more, and I got sicker throughout the car ride. I was getting more pale, but when we got even closer to home, you drove more, and I just started to get really tired. And you pull up the car. I ran out to the car. I literally, as soon as you parked the car, I ran out. Didn't care what was on my feet. Didn't care what I left in the car. Literally, opened the door. Could not wait till I got to the couch. Literally, the couch seemed so far away. It's really not that far away. And I was just like, I can't wait till I get to the couch. Got to the couch. Felt so good. And then bundled up in a ball because I felt so sick. Kind of had the chills. Ended up turning pale white. Got the ice packet on me. Just did not feel good. Even just talking about it makes me feel sick. Because I think I was just so out of shape that happened. Also, electrolyte imbalances, dehydration, heat exhaustion, so many things like that. Because it's literally like...
Oh wait, yeah, what should I film tomorrow?
I don't know.
How unprofessional.
I actually thought I was filming today. I never ended up filming today. Because I never felt like it. And I didn't want a bad filming thing. So I could just film tomorrow for what I was going to talk about, which was the doctor's visit. But I really want... I had so many ideas in my head for this podcast. But now that you brought it up, that I just want to say, like, and it was going to be like 2.5 hours, 2 hours. But the idea that you brought up, I just want to say that for an outside podcast, or when we get to the lake or we sit out on the porch, it was like, yeah, that's true. I do want to save it for an outside podcast. And literally just so I can tan and relax in the sun and be cool. Just like sitting out in the sun, having like a 2-hour, 2.5 hour, 3-hour podcast of all of our ideas and the ideas flowing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Okay.
But yeah. So we just basically all what we just said was cut out because literally it does not need to be in the podcast because it was just a bunch of nonsense that was happening and we lost our train of thought due to it. So with that inconvenience just happening, we're going to end the podcast here. You can help support the channel on Patreon. Let us know any podcast things or video ideas and podcast ideas down below in the comments. You can help support the channel directly on Patreon, or you can Venmo us, PayPal. Anyways, make sure you seek happiness, achieve goals, and find glory. Why'd you do it like that?
I don't know.
Anyways, we will see y'all in the next one. What was that country accent? What was that country accent?
Country accent.
Anyways, we will see
y'all in the next one. Stay humble.
Work hard and be kind.
That's not even us saying, right? That's what my saying.
Yeah. Seek happiness, achieve goals, and find glory. We will see y'all in the next one. Peace.